Man, sitting sucks. It's like sitting on a fucking marble.
You want a pillow?
No.
Just
you want to feel it?
Sit on first.
You want to feel it?
No.
You can feel it. It's like I'm sitting on a fucking marble.
I'm just saying, I'll give you a pillow to put on the chair.
No, I just got my thigh hanging
or to
off.
put on your back, you know.
Yeah. Does it come with a shoulder massage?
Just giving you shit. You crybaby motherfucker.
Try this again. It's a goddamn shit show. Welcome back to Two Shots In Podcast. I'm Devin Burgess.
Frank King.
Aiden Lee.
And our producer.
The first
Paul.
podcast I'm expecting, and here we
This is a
have.
goddamn
I was
disaster.
focusing on that tube right there.
We do. We have Jason Momoa here with us today. Straight out of the SeaWorld. Have you watched the new hold on before we do our two shots in. Have you watched the new Justice thing?
Justice League?
I haven't.
It's supposed to be like the hot shit, and I turned it on last night. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know anybody. Superman's dead,
I don't watch any of those.
and I don't understand any of it.
I
But
gave
you
up
look
like
just like Jason Momoa.
I'll take that as a huge
Holy
compliment.
shit.
I think that's what he's going for.
That's a life goal right there.
He's probably
I was watching last
He
night.
probably
I was like,
stands in the mirror, you know, and says, "I'm Aquaman."
I hope someone says I look like Jason Momoa.
that dude looks just like old Momoa. Yeah, he's saving villagers with fish and stuff at midnight last night. But I don't know. I fell asleep, and I woke up like 45 minutes in, and it's a whole different storyline with these chicks shooting arrows at this metal guy. And I fell asleep, and I woke up like 45 minutes later, and it's a whole different plot line.
Again.
With some black dude building another dead black dude into this robot, and I fall asleep, and I wake back up, and there's a bunch of these metal birds flying around trying to get these boxes. It's the most confusing shit I ever saw. And it's like 5 hours long.
You need to make a movie review channel.
Maybe I dreamed that. It was
well,
late.
but
Just like his review of movies, but it's like every 20 minutes
right,
of the movie.
Reviewing every 20 minutes and then take a break for 20 minutes.
Yeah, every
and then
time
review
Blair
another
would
20
wake up
minutes.
and scream, I'd wake up and I'd be in the midst of this
This fever dream.
this incredible movie that's 6 hours long, and I don't know what the fuck's going on in
Wake
any
up.
of it.
Huh? What's going on?
Anyway, that's in my mind. Welcome back to Two Shots In Podcast. We got our what's the name of that? That moonshine?
This is the Blackberry.
Yeah, I had that
Gatlinburg,
last-
Tennessee.
I almost died there
And
too.
give you that old smoky, son. Old smoky moonshine up in that motherfucker, boy.
How hard would it be to make a website where people can buy this kind of shit?
It wouldn't be that hard.
It just takes money
Yeah,
and a little talent. Like
I'm all out of money,
what's sitting
and
over
I don't
there.
have any talent either. So I guess we're gonna
Frank's got talent.
put a
That's
pin
what
in
this is
that.
for. It brings on the talent.
All right, so Aiden is our guest.
Definitely opened some doors.
Aiden is our guest this week. He was involved in the events of Saturday the 20th of February, and he actually got shot. What does it feel like getting shot?
You know, honestly, I've had a million people ask me that, and I honestly
Million and
can't.
one.
I still. Who?
I said 1,000,001.
Yeah, huh? So, you know, and honestly, the funny part is I genuinely say that I still don't know because I'm so aware of the fact that I was on such adrenaline. Now, the difference between what I went through and imagining if I was some idiot cleaned their gun and I blew a hole in my leg be two completely different feelings.
Man, I want to get
Like that guy. God
No,
damn,
well,
I just
okay, you
shot
don't-
myself.
text.
No, but I'll tell you from my experience what I felt. So, in the midst of what was going on, again, my back of my mind fear was I've never been shot. I'm kind of worried about getting shot and what's
Did you
worse.
know you got shot?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, I
Dude,
did.
seeing him get shot was crazy. Like
I jumped like a
actually
fucking rabbit.
Saw his leg jump back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
45's no joke.
Yeah. No, so what I felt, it was funny because like I watched the last podcast and I wanted to chime in so badly watching because y'all were talking about how much data.
Look. There you go, motherfucker.
There we go. So I remember y'all talking so much about how much data you can process in the moment. And it's so funny because when I got shot, what it felt like was as if someone frogged you. When they punch you with that knuckle sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
It's that initial impact of someone doing that with all their might. Except that initial impact pain never ended. But it's funny enough because when it hit me, I remember going, "Ooh, I can work with that though." Like it wasn't that bad.
And then he came hopping down the alley going, shit.
Yeah.
Well, and what's funny is all the profanity you heard after, it was just anger. I was just genuinely pissed off that I got shot. Like, it was just because I'm like, this can sound douchey, but I'm in gym now. I'm like, I can't squat. Bam, shot. I'm not going to the gym. Damn it. Fuck.
How long you out for?
They projected full health recovery, 6 months. But that's being able to move as if it never happened. I'm just hoping the scar tissue and everything doesn't give me prolonged issues. But I mean, getting the initial impact, I'm going to say it wasn't as bad as I expected. The worst part was that tourniquet. Holy shit, that was the worst part of the whole experience. I had that on for about 15 minutes. I mean, thankfully, I've got prior training on a tourniquet and I understand the importance of it. But, God, everything in you wants to undo it so badly.
You've been getting a lot of ass.
Yeah. For what little I can move.
You don't have to say it. You've been getting a lot of ass.
Oh.
Who's that? Oh, it's Ginger. Go let her in.
Oh.
I thought it was the FBI. They
got
finally caught on to us.
A surprise guest.
I thought it was the ATF. God damn, look at that shirt. That shirt's putting up a fight, Ginger.
Fucking G.I. Ho.
That's right.
Yeah, get you a shot.
Wait.
This is better than G. I don't know.
Let me pull all
I think we all know.
We got the whole crew.
Which I wanted
here.
to tell you, by the way, you didn't have to replace that tourniquet, dude.
No, absolutely. Dude, those shits are not cheap. I know. I own a handful. Them things are like, if you buy the right one, buy the right one.
You definitely have to buy the right one.
Why, which one did you have?
Well,
You just can't buy the cheap China ones that are like 3 for $14.
they've got fakes. They've got fakes on the market. You got to be careful.
Yeah, because
So-
you're tightening your
What
tension
asshole
rod
is
will
making
snap. It's made out of like this really
Fecal
weak
matter?
plastic.
Well, no, it's just made of this like cheaper material. So the big concern with the fakes, actually what's funny is I own a few fakes deliberately though because they're my training ones.
That's who you give to the guys you don't want to make up.
Yeah.
Here, use this.
Yeah, when Frank threw me his, I should have read the labeling to make sure.
No,
it was good.
I gave you a good one.
Oh, I know. I wrenched it. But no, so they got the fake ones too. But I buy the fake ones on purpose, but I buy them in the orange color so I don't mix them up. And I use those for training purposes to keep up with it. But I also, it sounds ridiculous, but I used to piss my wife off with it because I used to come home and I would just lay on the floor, throw it at her, and go left leg. And she's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Go ahead." But my wife knows how to use a tourniquet now.
Right.
So after this all went down, as much shit as she gave me, she's very thankful that she knows what she knows now.
She got a sister? My wife would not do that. She'd throw
Well,
that thing right back at me.
one
and
of
say
the
to go
things-
fuck
She
myself.
used to do that, but I told her, like, you have got to entertain me with this.
One of the things I didn't understand when you came hopping down the alleyway is, were you aware that both Dave and I were outside?
Not immediately. So that's what's funny when you and I talked about it afterward. Whenever the individual came around and I re-engaged, you were like, "No, me too." And I'm like, "I didn't know you."
Because
were,
Dave
no,
doesn't even remember you running past him. But
Dave don't remember anything. He's old. That's outside this
But
situation.
no, my reason for asking that is because you went down screaming, "I need a tourniquet."
Yeah.
So I was wondering who you were talking to.
Anybody. I'm gonna be honest. Fucking anybody.
Anybody could hear
So,
it.
Like
Taco
that was
Bell.
that military training
Oh,
kicking
man.
in.
I'm like-
just screaming, "I need a tourniquet."
just situational awareness for everybody.
But
Hey, somebody.
when I saw you take that round, the clock in my head just immediately started ticking. Okay, you got about 2 minutes.
the same happened to me.
And I started ticking it off. And then as soon as I had the opportunity, I ran inside and
Did you
grabbed
think
it.
that was the case if he had a tourniquet?
So I'll tell you what.
No, well, he wouldn't have screamed for a tourniquet if he had a decent one.
No. If he, the 2 minutes, if he had a tourniquet,
No.
or if he did not
If
have a
the
tourniquet.
2 minutes was, I didn't know if it was an arterial bleed.
No,
or
I
not.
get that, but if he had a tourniquet, does that? I mean, I'm not
So,
familiar
no,
with
what he's-
bleeding out through an arterial wound. So
What he was saying, the 2 minutes is like that's the time you have
Why,
to.
with no tourniquet, you're dead after 2 minutes.
Either way,
it hits an
exactly,
artery.
yep.
Okay.
And even
With
with
or
the
without.
tourniquet, you have 2 minutes to apply what you have. Whether you do or don't, you've got 2 minutes till you die. So what are you going to
gotcha.
do about it? So, y'all were talking about complacency the other day. That was, and it pisses me off because I know you were talking shit about how often I carry tourniquets.
Right.
And I always got a cat in my back pocket. That was one of the few days I didn't have a cat on me. And
yeah?
I literally reached and patted my back pocket and went, shit, why don't I have it? I just didn't have it that morning. But in my pocket trauma kit, I have what's called a SWAT tee. And it's like, essentially, if you take a workout band and you were to cut it, it's essentially a tourniquet. It's designed to be. And the idea is you stretch it across, and then it gives you a little diagram of how you're supposed to do it. And seems good in theory. I've never used one, but I know enough about tourniquets to be able to apply it. But when there is blood and sweat all over your hands, it was not applying. I did 2 wraps, it snapped off, and that's when I started yelling tourniquet. I'm like, this piece of shit.
Slips out of your hand.
So I'm gonna tell you, anyone who watches this, do not get a SWAT T. They suck. So
Thumbs down.
major thumbs down.
Oh, everybody knows. I'm glad Ginger joined us.
Yeah.
Ginger's here. They've seen a few of us, but they don't know you, Jason Momoa. So we got a few questions for you. Ask the internet questions. Just read them and answer them accordingly.
Okay. Would you rather go to jail for a year or go to jail with a
Oh my
Rubik's
God.
Cube and leave when it's done? I'll go to jail for a fucking year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend I know how to do one
Not
of
very
those.
bright. Me neither. I'd go
I
to jail for a
didn't-
year.
Well, wait. He didn't say you. He didn't say you had to solve it. We used to pop all the things off
the
and then put them
stickers?
back together. No, like pop the plastic corners off.
That
and
was,
then take it all
Rubik's
apart,
Cubes were like a
then put it
generation
all back
before me. I
together.
didn't
Yeah, I've
fuck
never
with those.
been able to do
Those were
it.
collecting dust in my
I've
grandpa's
never
house.
been
I
able to
What are you
do
trying to say?
a Rubik's Cube either.
What are you trying to say? I had plenty of Rubik's Cubes.
No, I had them.
Never solved one of those
I just
fuckers.
never solved
Took the stickers off and just said, "Yep,
Well,
there we go."
and then with going to jail for a year, I mean, shit, it's a year of free food, free gym, free living.
Well, you see, you
and I'm
can't
not
ask-
stressing, like, having to complete this shit to get done. Fuck it, I'll just
You
live
can't
free
ask
for
that
a
of a
year.
military guy. A military guy, you pretty much were in jail
That's
for
right.
4 years.
Yeah.
7 years, yeah.
Yep.
All right, you got another one.
9 for me.
Oh, I do? Yeah.
And I was even on a little bitty boat, you know, or a little bitty room in a boat.
All right, so let's see. So if you were sent back to the Roman Empire with a fully charged iPhone, do you think you'd be able to take it over the world? To take over the world?
You
I
wouldn't
mean, what? Just showing I have tech? I
have,
don't.
you wouldn't have service.
Yeah, but you can take pictures.
You don't have service.
You got a
No
calculator?
What's that gonna do when they stab me with
You
a
got
fucking?
pictures?
They're gonna stab me
Well,
with
no,
a
it's
fucking.
not gonna do anything.
No, let me tell you what's gonna
That's
happen.
why the answer
it's
is
gonna
no.
be. It's
But
gonna
no,
yeah.
with the light alone, you could be like,
Yeah.
I make light. Bing.
Like
And
Jason
everybody
Momoa in that movie.
So.
He makes light come
No,
from
that-
his hand.
Well, because, you know, and it's like an older generation of, like, the witch trial shit. That's like trying to show them you can swim. Great, and they're going to hang you for it. Like,
Yeah, that actually is the right answer. I've
they're
thought about
not
that
going to
too.
save you.
All right, you got another one. Fast fire round.
All right. I got to keep in mind these are double shots, because
Either that or you'll be,
this shit is good.
you know,
You saw any
the,
shot glasses?
the aliens
I
that visited
did.
back then
Did we get to keep one?
may say,
We got
who's this
5.
motherfucker?
Like $15 a piece.
All right. Jesus. Okay, what STD would you be willing to have if you could pass it along to your biggest enemy? Oh, Christ, I'm not really worried about passing it on so long as I still got it. I mean, I don't feel good passing on AIDS if I still end up having it anyway.
That's right. That's the predicament you're in.
It's a more of a
You
self-preservation thing.
disgusting thing.
Maybe like, I don't know, syphilis, because it's temporary to give you a bad itch, but I can get over it too.
Syphilis. Good answer. Strong answer.
But you're also saying pass it on to an enemy,
That's
so am I
what-
fucking my
that's-
enemy?
That's what killed Al Capone.
But you're saying I'm gonna pass it to my am I fucking my
yeah?
enemy? That's the big question here.
No, you just
Because
get
it
to-
gets into your
it's a
brain.
free pass.
I think that's the joke of this was like,
Oh, yeah?
would you willing to give your enemy an STD? Are you fucking your enemy? No, they don't. No.
I hope for your enemy's female. Last one.
Would you rather be blind or dickless? Holy shit!
Blind.
No,
Please
I'd rather be
think.
dickless.
Are you serious?
This got me in so much trouble. Yeah, I like seeing stuff. I like TV. You missed it. We were talking about this movie I watched last night that I don't even know what happened, but I enjoyed watching it. That wiener's got you in trouble.
Well, here's the torn
That
dilemma.
wiener gets you in a lot of trouble.
Here's the torn dilemma though.
I'd take over the world if I didn't have a wiener by now.
So here's the torn dilemma with that. It's funny enough. See, the benefit of being blind is you can fuck anything and everything doesn't matter. It's all about feeling anymore. You fucking anybody.
This is true.
But
You wouldn't be able to see yourself in them goddamn movies, though.
the Jason Momoa specials.
That's right. No HBO,
Aquaman.
no Showtime,
All the
no
way.
Breaking Bad, no Game of Thrones.
Oh, I
No
love
Wonder
Game of
Twins.
Thrones. I just finished Game of Thrones for the I don't know how many times.
I guess I'd rather be. Yeah,
She's
just be
ridiculous. She's done all right.
Well, yeah, that's okay.
rest
You
my
wouldn't
case.
know.
No, hey.
She's got bigger balls than most guys I know. I'll
I
tell
do.
you.
They're just a lot higher. Look.
But you brought up a good point though. Dickless. Does that mean just dickless like a Ken doll, or am I getting a vagina?
No, just ridiculous.
Just dickless,
Dickless.
just smooth.
You just gotta sit.
I'd make a lot of money being that because that's crazy and
That's
unique.
right.
Just the
Ripley's.
You could be like a a mannequin, a live mannequin out in the front of the store.
Is this to say I can't get an implant too? Like that's a technicality?
I guess you can.
Oh, then I'll just
You
be
get like
dickless,
a robotic penis.
Exactly.
Blind would suck.
It's got 12 different modes on it. They love that shit.
I knew this blind guy that used to hang out at Little Farms Playground, and he was always pissed. He was just hating life.
Dude, I saw this
He
video.
couldn't see nothing.
I saw this video the other day.
We'd go back and we'd kick the back of his shoes. I mean, he was our friend, but he was always like,
I saw this video.
What a little ass.
This
He
guy
was always unhappy.
he was in the mall and he was sitting in the middle of the mall. He was eating an ice cream cone like that, and he's blind.
Right.
But nobody knew he was blind.
oh no.
So these women are like looking at him, and he's like just.
I rest my case.
And the woman over there is like going, like this, like, hey, you want to call me? And then he stands up and unfolds his walking stick. And they're like, oh my God.
I think I saw that. That was on one of those funny game shows. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Oh my god.
That was on True TV or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That was a good one. All right. We had fun. Now to serious conversations.
Oh shit.
Enough of this
Here we
drunk
go.
bullshit that y'all drag me into every week.
Enough of what the podcast is based on.
Right. Put my foot down. This nonsense of dickless, drunk, blind people talk.
STD passing.
You know what's tragic too? That was one of the things that came across later. I was like, thank God I wasn't shot in the dick.
Oh,
At some point that came across me. Oh, yeah.
Imagine.
I mean, I was thinking everything in between. I'm like, vertebrae. I could be not walking.
Think about that mangled mess, but they try to reconstruct it. It looks like one of those rare
Dead
chicken
center
patties.
chest.
They're like, man, he hit a small
A
growth.
growth.
Right.
Dead
Like
center
one of those-
chest, your heart could not be pumping anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
One of those mangled up Sam's Club chicken patties.
I'm not gonna lie. Now, when they first, I don't know, Frank, if you happen to be still standing next to me when they took the shears to me, I was like a kid getting a shot. I literally just looked away and I told the EMS, I was like, hey, look, I don't know if I want to see what's gonna be under these pants. And he's like, no, I get it. Because I thought it was gonna be pop sausage, like from a hollow point.
I like how they left the layer of pants under your tourniquet.
Yeah.
There's one.
Yeah, I
strip
had
of
like
pants left.
5% of my pants still on.
Were they pumped up that you put a tourniquet on?
Yeah, they were cool.
Oh, when they walked up, because I was right there, and the woman was like, we said, look, he's got a tourniquet on. I got one down right here, and she was like, okay, good. And he goes, she said, did you? And he said, yeah, I put the time on it. And she was like, oh, great.
Hey, look, 1453. I'm gonna remember that always.
Well, how did you do that because the guy was still active, wasn't
He
he?
had a Sharpie on him.
No.
No. So, okay, and I'm going to be honest, this is where my memory gets kind of blurred because we had conflicting stories. So, what I had thought, and again, you can correct me because it's all such a stress memory, was
He
that
looks
I
just
had
like
been.
Jason Momoa. Doesn't he?
Yeah, he
I
does.
cannot get it out of my head.
I
I
know.
watched that goddamn movie last night.
Is that your man crush?
No. I mean,
You can say it.
I'm dickless right now anyway.
Hey, me too. We'll just we'll just bump ends. Like, we're both ridiculous.
I don't know if I want to be Bruce Willis anymore. Have you seen some of the
We
movies?
got Bruce Willis. We got Jason Momoa.
wait.
We got Jennifer Aniston. I'm just this asshole talking to y'all, feeding y'all booze.
But wait, have you seen some of the movies he's been in lately?
Yeah, they're kind of rough.
Oh my God.
They just try to remake the Equalizer 50,000
Jesus.
times.
Yeah, they need to
Right.
stop.
But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
somebody tried to say I look like the guy from God, it's like the goofy comedic version of Jason Momoa. He was in that shit. I wish I could remember the movie with
Dave Chappelle.
Oh, love him.
John C. Reilly.
No, fuck. He's British.
Black.
British guy. He's British.
Oh, I don't mess with
He was in
them.
the Get Him to the Greek.
Oh,
The retarded version of Jason Momoa.
Yeah. I like him.
I did too, yeah. But that's what, like, when I was getting my hair long, they're like, yeah, you trying to look like him? And I was like, Jason Momoa. But
Russell Brand.
is that his
That's
name?
him.
I thought he had some crazy ass
Nope.
name.
Look it up, Paul. Boom.
He was married to Katy Perry.
Close that
Give me-
tab we know you're on.
Give me some Russell Brand. Stop looking at that porno.
Quit watching
says
porn and get
jerking
to
off
work.
back there.
Stop searching dickless porn.
Everything's been sticky for the last 2 weeks back there.
Blown up dicks, dickless men.
is a simple place, right? So you gotta go. Like he told
Yeah, exactly. I actually really liked him in Get Into the Game.
He's actually very intelligent.
Like,
You
Paul's
know, he
asleep
doesn't
on
come
the job.
across as it, but he's very intelligent.
Uh-huh. He's got a good podcast too.
Yeah.
He does. He talks to Jordan Peterson a lot and stuff
What
like
were you
that.
saying now?
What were we talking about before that? Oh, the mixed memories of with the shooting.
Yeah.
So this is where I get blurred.
Don't
and
you
I'm glad,
love alcohol?
And look, let me disclaim right
I
now on the
couldn't wait to
podcast.
get in
Look,
here.
I have not had a drink
I heard you
in
beating that
about.
door down.
I have not had a drink in about 6 months. And when I tell you I brought water, I'm like so prepared for this shit. I did not eat before this either, so.
Hey, I have pizza. I bought extra for tonight.
Come on, you're fading. Get to the point.
So okay. So yeah, got me on. So
That's Apple.
when I had gotten shot again, Frank saw me get shot. At this point, I don't know where he's at. I'm focused on what I'm doing. But I ran back to the alleyway, and from what I remember, and please correct me, I had waited behind cover for him to come around. And I could feel my sock getting hot and wet. Like I feel like I can feel myself bleeding out. So all I could think was the same internal clock of 2 minutes. I'm like, come on. So he came around that corner. We re-engaged. He fell. And that's when I heard you yell out, "Hey, you good?" I said, "No, I'm fucked up. I've got a hole in my leg." And then that's when you started yelling tourniquet and you came down.
I said, hey. And he looked up and I dropped the tourniquet down.
So once he came down the stairs and I saw his gun up and he was capable of, taking over responsibility, that's when I dropped behind the air conditioning unit for cover and I started going to work. Is that
that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I knew you were in the zone because when I yelled down at you, I could tell you did not even hear me.
Okay, so let me tell you how in the zone I must have been then. Because not only for you to be yelling with your voice, I didn't hear your guns going off.
I didn't hear my own gun going.
No, me neither. No, so
I'm like right here.
Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm putting on my tourniquet, I'm looking down, and I'm just desperately getting every rotation I can get out of the windlass, the little twist thing, and suddenly I just see it raining brass on me, and I just see the brass bouncing on the pavement, and then it sticks in my blood, and I look up, and I'm like, son of a bitch, y'all still going?
They got your back, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure, but it was more or less like, God damn, he's still going. But, and the fact I didn't hear their guns, I remember looking down, it was just raining brass on me from his gun. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
You feel like Deadpool in that movie?
Well, here's exactly...
I wouldn't, no.
Here's exactly what I saw, okay?
Yeah, let me hear your end better.
When we walked out onto the balcony, Dave went down the stairs, okay, and went up the walkway. Mm-hmm. I saw you backing up. Dave apparently saw you round the corner to go engage the guy, okay? I saw you backing up, shooting, all right?
Yeah.
Engaging. And I saw you, I saw you take one in the leg right before you got to the fence. And then you turned around, came hopping down the alleyway saying, shit. At first, I think you went, like, God damn it. And then you turned.
I was pissed.
And then you went,
Or was he
shit.
The other guy was still shooting at him, though?
Yeah.
So
that's after they came back around from my car.
So I'm gonna let you get to finishing that story, but let me kind of jump in on it to tell from another perspective what was going on in that moment with the backing up thing. So my initial engagement with the guy,
and he was like this, like backing up.
Yeah,
like strictly engaged.
Because what had happened at that point was I was shooing the hell out of her car.
Shot the fuck out of my car.
Shot the shit out of her car.
Yes, he did. It's
What was
still
the plan?
Okay, so let me tell you. And again, like I know
Ginger has 3 cars to pick from. Fuck this one.
I was just jealous, to be honest. I shot the car first, then I shot, what I had to. I'm like, look at Ginger's car.
I shot her car, too.
After
Bitch.
we all went out there.
It looks like y'all did.
Lesson to learn was buy a beater.
I know, right?
So
Don't park right by the front door.
no. So and again, I know this is a very sensitive topic with the whole situation. So feel free to let me know.
We had the sad one when we cried last time, so now we're trying to...
We're trying to get
Trying
over
to make
that.
light of it.
Yeah. No, and absolutely. But so what happened with me, and I was again my initial game plan. I'm gonna tell you what was supposed to happen. I had evacuated my customers out of their classroom because again we're in 2 different situations. Y'all sheltered in place, and that's one thing I like to see. There was 2 game plans that were different but both worked. So y'all sheltered in place, and the irony was because we talked later. The reason y'all sheltered in place so much was because ironically I was the one running around, but y'all didn't know that. So y'all just barricaded
We thought
the
it was other people like running around like looking for people.
Yeah,
So,
we had no idea.
I didn't even know he had a class going on.
So so
I didn't know that.
So when I was teaching my class, there was just the initial shot, which to me, I thought was another, it's unfortunate in gun stores, but NDs do happen every now and then. So I thought it was just an ND, and I had a customer in the middle of a question. I raised my hand to her. I said, whoa, hang on. Because that was way too loud to be a range shot.
Yes,
better.
exactly.
That's exactly what we said.
I raised my hand to her and said, give me a moment. And my intent at that point was just to go make sure everybody was okay. But then by the time I even touched the doorknob, it was boom, boom, and then the shit storm goes off. Mm-hmm. And that's when the whole class saw me unholster, which really let them know the shit was real. I ran down the hall, and I squat down, and I looked down the stairwell, and that's when I see our other coworker from the range yelling, drop the, and he just ducks behind cover, and the glass there explodes, which is clearly enough for me to go, holy shit, this is a gunfight. Thankfully, and we talked about this before, it's just body movement. You just
Yes.
move.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very thankful that my body movement was back to my customers. So I ran back, opened the door, and I very unprofessionally said, everybody get the fuck out. All the way at the end of the hall, fire exit, you'll see the sign. And they're running. And then one of my customers, an older woman, she got to the doorway, turned around and said, and I grabbed her by the neck so hard. And I threw her down the hall. I said, fuck you, bird,
That's
get
right.
down the hallway. And, that's where y'all hear us running around. So that explains why they sheltered in place. We're running around. Now, the reason I went for the escape route is because the way the layout is, if I was to do it for the camera here, the stairwell door is here, and then it's a long, thin hallway. My classroom's here. The only escape is that same stairwell or the fire escape,
That's
which
right.
is down this way. So for me, I wasn't going to be pushed into a corner with no escape.
Right.
So my philosophy was,
Especially if there's more.
and we didn't
Yeah,
know.
we had no idea.
And when I
How
tell you,
many?
and I don't know how much the viewers
Well,
know,
with
but
the,
like
with the amount of rounds that went off, I could have swore
there was
it
a
more than
solid,
one
there was a
person.
solid 6-7 guns going off at once. We don't know whose is ours. I was very confident that many of them.
Shitty spot to be in.
It
I know,
was
and we knew
horrible.
nothing. We were just walking blind into it.
And I'm very confident that many of those shots were our coworkers. But again, you don't know.
That's right.
So for me, it was just get everybody out of Dodge. So we went out the fire escape. We went down. I told my customers, hug the wall, stay behind me. Now, again, getting back to what my goal was.
I got a story about that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And I'm going to let you jump in. But so my goal at that point was to push through the parking lot, sprint to a cover position behind a large vehicle's engine block, aim into the store.
My Mustang. Go ahead.
We'll get there. So I wanted to get behind a larger vehicle's engine block, aim into the store, and yell to my customers, run. And I was going to point, and I wanted them to, leap the guardrails at the Taco Bell drive-through and just run. Just go down the airline. And once I was relieved of my responsibility of customers, I was then going to go into the store and do what I had to do. But again, being that I was teaching a class and had my own group, I had my own responsibility
That's
to their
right.
lives.
That's right.
So once I could relieve myself of their lives, I can then go inside and take care of business. Now let's talk about what happened. So I walk up, and then that's when I see the other individual with... I'll back up if it's too loud.
No, you're good.
The other individual had his hands up, don't shoot. I said, okay, I see you, and of course, rightfully, he's very afraid. I did point the gun at first, but then I took it off as soon as I saw the hands. And he yelled, don't shoot. And I said, hey, I see your hands, I'm not going to shoot. Like, where is he? He's like, don't shoot me. And I kept trying to relieve him of, hey, I understand you're not the threat. Now, where is he? And all he kept warning me was, hey, he's got mental issues. Don't do what you got to do. And he got to the point where he was just a broken record, kept repeating himself. He's under stress as well, of course.
Right.
Now, at that point, I heard broken glass being stepped on at the front door. I quickly peeked my head, and just in that quick peek, again, you were talking about that huge amount of data you can process. And I tell you, as quickly as I went, not my coworkers, not someone running for their lives. The gunfire had stopped for at least 6 seconds already, and you're
Yes.
holding a gun.
Which
And-
feels
and
That was
forever.
enough for me to know.
And the bad guy's the only guy walking out.
And I
That's
see the
right.
gun with the extended mag. And I saw it, and it was amazing. I'm telling you, when I went literally, this is the wall, I went, it was a Glock with an extended mag. It was
Yep.
not my coworker. It was a guy with a gun
Yep.
looking around. It was enough to data process
That's
to say,
right.
this is the threat. Leaned out.
It is freaking amazing how much information you can
when you
grab
have
Oh,
Yes.
just instantaneously.
And that's why
like
I had to
that.
get on
It's crazy.
tonight. That's why I had to get on tonight, because I was watching the podcast last night.
Why
and I was
didn't
like,
you text me then? I texted you.
for that one? Hey, I don't drink. Leave me alone. Yeah, I'd never done a podcast before, so
It's
once
fun,
I,
isn't it?
No, it is, and at first
I wish it was
We
under
love
better
it.
circumstances.
Me
too.
My first perspective of podcasts, I've never been on one. I thought it was just so much more formalized of mics and cameras, but it's just us shooting the shit with mics
it
in front
is,
of us.
exactly.
And I love
Exactly.
that. So I was like, yes, I want to be a part of that. And I was so
Absolutely.
upset when y'all were having that conversation. I was literally talking to my phone. I'm like, yes, and God, I want to talk about my perspective.
All right, don't get off track. Go back.
All right, so so I hear the crunch of glass. I see the guy, and I had the drop on him. So I went for a headshot first because we still don't know how many threats there are.
That's right.
And you got to think about ammo consumption. My goal ideally was headshot, drop. Okay, great. Move into the store, see what else is going on. Went for the headshot. He reacts and goes, "Oh shit!" Turns around, points the gun. I'm like, "Oh fuck, here we go."
See,
So-
now what I got from you backing up and shooting was suppression. Like,
That was suppression at that point, but we're not at the suppression part of the story yet.
Right.
So the individual reacted to my shot. Turns out I actually did connect that headshot. It just ricocheted off his head and fractured his skull.
Oh my
But it wasn't.
Yes.
And I had found out that was actually technically, and again, this isn't at all like a credit who did what at all. We all did an equally contributing job, but technically, what I'd heard from the homicide department was that was technically the lethal blow. Now he didn't go down that minute, but he didn't have more than 2 minutes to life from that.
That's right.
That impact. But it was just enough that he could still keep going. But you know what's crazy, and I think that's a lot of the reason why I'm still here, and he didn't do a better job on me, is, hell, he might not even know his own name
He
at
could
that
have
point.
thought. Yeah, his
He
thought
might have been
process
half
was not
blind.
correct.
The way the brain works and the impact,
Yes.
who knows where his brain was at anymore?
I don't know. The way he looked when he came around in that corner was like he was hunting you down.
He was. No, and I was very aware, and that's why I was prepared. And I don't know if you heard me yell, "Come on," because that mental clock of that 2 minutes, I'm like, let's get this over with, because I got other shit to do now because of what you did. But anyway, back to that point, he reacted, points his gun at me, shoots at least 4 times. I returned 4 shots back. He squeezes his chest real tight, and he fell forward behind Ginger's car. And at that point, he fell out of my view. But I knew I connected good shots because I saw him grab his chest and fall down. So when I lost sight of him, the instant he went out of view, I sprinted around the front with my gun ready. And again, talking about that time slowing down thing, I'm aiming over your hood.
Right.
Because I don't want to shoot your beautiful car. And as I'm aiming over, I see a glimpse into your tinted windows of movement. And, you know, my gun didn't move with my eyes. And again, if I'm in the camera, I was like this, but then I saw it move. My eyes went like this. And all I saw was the front end of a Glock. And before I could mentally even think, the glass explodes. So at this point, I'm within literally as close as you can be to another human being with a car in between you. So he's on his ass, propped up with his gun up, and he's left-handed. He's got his gun up. And at this point, I'm not aiming. I'm just point shooting. And again, getting back to what you're talking about, the data processing, I remember the first, and again, your windshield probably saved my life because bullets don't go through windshields very well. And I saw through your windshield the front end of a Glock, the glass explode on your driver's side. And it's amazing because if you think about how fast a bullet travels, the fact that I saw not only your passenger window explode before your windshield frosted.
Right.
That says a lot. If you think about the velocity of a bullet, 1,200 feet, 900 feet per second. I saw your window blast, then the windshield frost.
That's crazy.
And that's amazing that I was managing to see that.
Right.
And my first 2 shots in retaliation were through the bullet holes that I saw in the glass. Because it's amazing. The same thing of the data processing. I can't see anymore. It's frosted. But my logic was shoot back through the bullet holes because that's an equal line of where they're coming from.
Right.
And again, at that moment I shot it, I can't tell you how many, but at least 6 quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something like that kind of pace.
So now you're down to.
I total, again, I couldn't tell you how many I shot. I shot probably 10 to 12 rounds total before I did attack reload. But in that same magazine, I shot back through the bullet holes because I can't see through this frosted windshield. I'm like, let's return from where we got it. And
This is a weird question, and I'm going to ask you because I had a weird, and I can't really remember if it actually happened or not. Do you remember seeing the bullet?
Which one?
As slowed down
Any
as
of
everything
them.
was.
Oh
for us,
shit!
we're all
No,
used to.
I mean time slows
Look,
down, but
this
it ain't
is
no
why I
Matrix.
I
This-
see him in the range all the time.
This has
like when I'm
nothing-
watching people
right.
shoot,
No.
I can
Yes.
see
Well,
the
this
bullet.
has nothing to do with this specific situation, but I have a piece of lead in my forehead
That explains
because
a lot.
I remember. Yeah, I know. Thank you. So I remember when I was at Shooters Club helping somebody learn to shoot, and they hit an
I'm
angle.
crippled. Will you help me?
Oh, please.
They hit an
I
angle
gotta milk it while I got it.
Milk it,
at
baby.
the back of the
milk it.
range, and I could see it come back.
No,
and
yeah.
hit me in the forehead.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
Yeah, no,
So,
I can
I
see the
swear to
bullets
God.
in the range when we're teaching the students. I can see the bullets travel
Yeah.
Well, correct, because
Yes.
and hit
so,
the targets.
Well, but
I
situation.
crazy.
remember seeing it. I mean, it was only 1/100th of a second.
Right, right.
Incredibly fast. But I remember seeing it hit me in the forehead.
Right. No, I get that. I've
So-
seen it plenty of times.
And no, you're right, because I've seen it in the range too, and 45 is the easiest to see. However, if you think about with the range, you got a black backstop, and you got them stadium lights. So what you got is this shiny piece of brass flying through with these baffles with these great lights and a black backstop. It makes for the perfect chance to see it.
Right.
Outside, we're in sunlight. I didn't see anything. So that's, I mean, maybe I could have, but with the lighting, I definitely didn't. But all I remember seeing was the fact that what blew my mind in the moment was that I saw your passenger door blast,
Yes.
then the frost.
Yes.
Which that's such an instant. but I managed to see both happen. But, and again, getting back to how much data you process, I shot 6 rounds about that pace. Because, again, thankfully, I train to shoot fast, and I know my personal cadence. I don't shoot beyond, I made sure not to panic fire. I remember all I could think was, don't panic fire, don't panic fire.
And
shoot your cadence.
And I can remember seeing him.
You can remember?
I can remember his. I can remember his grip when he was shooting. Because I remember looking at his grip and saying, that's exactly how we teach people how to shoot. Yeah. You know, and he's backing up, and I can physically see how he's holding the gun.
Yeah.
I even saw his thumb, because he fires more tactically. I can see his thumb up above the slide when he's shooting.
Yeah.
Because he rides the slide with it.
I got a very aggressive grip because I train fast shooting. But yeah, same thing. I made sure I'm like, don't pull the trigger like an idiot. Because again, most people when they panic just like as fast as they can. But because I train to shoot faster, I am capable of understanding what my cadence was. But as I was shooting in that cadence, again, I keep trying to get to the same point. We keep getting, but it's fine. It's all productive to the conversation.
That's right.
But those 6 shots, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, within the first 2, I put the first 2 through the windshield, went doof, doof, windshields don't work, lean right, busted your driver's side door, and went through your doors. Because, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the first 2, boom, boom, don't do that, lean, 4, 5, 6. And he ducked behind the door, and I was still shooting through your door. And it's amazing, because I remembered, car doors are paper thin. Everybody thinks, like, you watch the movies, and shit, people take cover behind, they knock over a wooden dinner table and get behind it. You can shoot through cars.
Especially sports cars.
Yes, your Mustang was very great to shoot through. Pleasant experience. But it was just amazing in the moment that though I lost sight of him, I didn't forget to think that, yes, you can shoot through car doors. So I was shooting through your driver's side window through the door on the passenger side. Because, I mean, everybody thinks, like, oh, cars aren't bulletproof. I'm like, if you think about it, like...
Not mine.
People give credit to bullets like they're magical. But
like,
if you dial back, like, okay, what if I took, like, an ice pick and stabbed your car? We all know it would penetrate.
Absolutely.
They're paper thin. They're meant to be light and aerodynamic.
I think it was like 4 in the windshield, 1 in the hood.
Oh, would y'all like
I don't
to
know
count
who
a lot
did the
more
hood
than that? It's a lot more than that.
But now we're dialing back to, we're getting to that retrograde portion of the story where... and the only engagement I gotten from him at this point was a one-handed shot, so I kind of was dialing to, okay, great, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So I have a better odds, and thankfully, ironically, working the range, you see what some people do on the range, and you gain some confidence, realizing nobody really knows what they're doing. And that's on the range, and that's on the range, let alone me shooting at you. So I know damn well he's not reciprocating rounds very effectively.
Target,
correct. So I'm like,
people get lucky though. There's people
they
that
did. He got him in the leg.
They throw up 3-point shots that have no business on a basketball.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and again, when you got an extended mag, the law of probability comes in.
Right.
I mean, shit, you're not doing well, but you got enough to dish out. But what had happened that made me essentially like internally shit my pants is once I was retrograding, because at this point I'm in the middle of an open parking lot, and then he utilized your car for cover, and I'm like, shit, I'm not in a good position. And when he stood up, he used your car for cover and took a two-handed grip, and I went, oh fuck. He's thinking. I'm firing. And again, at this point, I dial my fire back to a more suppressive fire. I'm like, don't waste, but keep his head down. Get back behind that wall.
You had 2 mags?
I had 2 mags, yeah.
Okay.
So, and as I'm backing up, that's when your side of the story will kick in. That's when I took my shot in the leg, which... I don't know how I physically reacted in the moment because all I remember was keeping the gun on target. You can tell me I probably jumped jumped like a goddamn rabbit.
No, you didn't actually. You were like this, and then it was almost like I saw the round hit you in the leg because you went like that and you went, shit, and started hopping down or you went, oh fuck, and then you started
and again, any profanity or like reaction was genuinely not pain. It was just anger. I was so pissed off that I got hit.
You hop past Dave. Which Dave has no recollection.
And you know what's crazy? And you know what's insane is, I'll be honest, when you say I hop past Dave, I'm going to tell you a full blunt, my end of the story, and you're going to be amazed on how, based on what I'm hearing, it's not accurate. I took the round in my leg, and at that point I had about 8 more feet till I was behind cover. So I reprioritized movement over suppression. So instead of like, let me keep walking slow and firing, once I got hit, I'm like, and it's funny because obviously I knew this was very real. But when you receive a bullet, you're not John Wick. This ain't the fucking movies. You can be
Exactly.
hit and you can be killed.
That's right.
So in that moment, I went, fuck it. I just turned my back to the dude and sprinted, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember saying that, but that's funny to hear it. But I turned around, shit. I just sprinted to cover. I said, I got 8 more feet. It was 3 paces. And I just said, turn around.
And
I
when the
booked it.
cops picked up your gun, okay, and they set it on top of the air conditioning unit, you had rounds all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where they came from. I don't know
Like
where
live
they-
ones?
Yeah.
They probably came down from you.
No, live rounds.
No, live
Live
rounds.
rounds.
No, so what I know is there should have been only 1 live round. And here's the funniest part of this is, we're at this point with what we're talking about. We're fast forwarding the story a little bit. I got the tourniquet on. And this JPSO comes around, not to talk shit on this guy, but this man was so amped up in his own world. He came, and, when I heard the sirens, I started hearing cops around. I heard Frank. I heard you yell, "We got one in the alleyway, leg shot."
Right.
I immediately reholstered my gun. I'm like, I don't want to present a threat. Because, I also am
Yeah.
very aware that police, because I was, with military
Right, they
police,
don't know
I've
what the
responded.
fuck's
You don't know
going
what
on.
the fuck's going on. So I was very aware, like, don't even present a threat. Reholstered. And then this dude comes around. He goes, and then the EMS was simultaneously there, and he went to grab my gun, and I put my hand on top of his. And I was like, it's got 1 in the pipe. Be careful. And I literally, again, I'm going to say it,
I don't
comedy.
get shot again.
Correct. No,
Exactly.
No, comedy is my coping mechanism. So I'd already been shot not 10 seconds ago.
Please don't do it again.
And he puts his hand on my gun, and I put my hand on top of his, and all I could feel was the quaking of his hand. And I said, 1 hole's good enough for me, dude. Be fucking careful. There's 1 in the pipe, loaded gun. And he goes, okay. He took it out. And the EMS is like, what's the time? I'm talking to him. And I see the guy on the side, my peripheral, rack the gun, and I pat his shoulder. Hey, buddy. Mag first, then chamber. He goes, oh,
Please,
right. And I'm sitting here like,
first.
how am I the one
Drop
shot
your
on the
mag.
ground?
Right.
Explaining to, because I remember you texted me, you said, hey, did you do like an immediate actions? Which, for reference, means you got click instead of boom, you smack, rack,
Right.
re-attack, and then, but you rack out essentially.
Silent Ginger.
Come on.
I
And then
paid
you-
$6.50 to watch this movie.
Exactly.
And then you slap to make sure the magazine's rack to get that bad round out, which would essentially make it a live round. So he asked, "Did you do that?" I'm like, "No." Oh, the round? Yeah, that would be JPSO. That specific guy.
Why is there 24 of them?
Was there more than one?
No. I'm just,
No. Like,
I remember seeing a couple. I don't know if it was just one.
Yeah, it was
but I
probably
remember-
2 or 3.
It was probably because he kept racking it and didn't actually eject the magazine.
do you remember the
out.
calibers? Because
You mean yours was the only one that was out there?
it was a 9. I had a 9. He had a 45.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get down there.
Holy shit! Then I have no. That's what's crazy about these
He
these
probably
stress
kept doing
memories.
it.
I genuinely can't vouch for any of that. I remember
Right.
the only one I can vouch for is 1 live round because that JPSO racked my gun with a mag in it, and I patted his shoulder, buddy, mag first. He goes, right,
Yeah.
and then he did it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He may have racked a couple of times.
Maybe
and
you know what? And it's
ejected
the same
a couple
thing.
of rounds
Maybe
out.
I missed the first
Yeah,
few because I was
because
focusing.
you didn't hear anything. I promise you, because I was yelling down at you.
I was probably ignoring you.
No, you wasn't.
Like fucking Ginger, come on. Man.
God, Ginger.
But yeah,
No.
I mean, it even took me like 3 times of saying, hey, before
Yeah,
you
yeah.
actually looked
Ginger's
up.
trying
and
to
I
get
threw
your
you the
insurance.
Oh
tourniquet.
yeah, well, and let me tell you because my
Ginger
situation,
was trying to get your insurance for a car.
right, huh? And then and again, because we were all in the same stressful situation. But once you're hit, I've got a multitude of problems. I got this guy imminently trying to kill me any second, but I've also got this hourglass running out of time
Right.
on 2 minutes.
Yes.
So
Well, that's why
I had a
from that-
lot of shit going on in the moment.
That's
From
right.
that elevated position, I had a perfect line of sight. to
It's amazing
everything.
to hear your side because I had no idea you also engaged the guy with me at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Well, that's all your brass raining down on you was me engaging the guy.
It could have been piss and rain, and I would have had no idea. I was so lasered in on what I was doing.
You were in a zone. Like
No,
I
and
was
as soon
like,
as soon as I
leave
threw
him
you that
alone.
tourniquet, I remember seeing you unwrapping it to put it on, and I was like, "Well, he's just everything is just falling into place.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows exactly what he's doing."
yeah.
So that's why I wasn't concerned with you, and that's why after we just held our guns on him until the police came.
Yeah.
When that first officer got there, that's when I ran back to you, and I was like, "Are you good?" And you
And
said,
then
"I
we
don't
did a
know.
bu-
You got to check me."
Buddy check, yeah.
And I said, "Okay." And I was literally like
my shirt off.
manhandling him, like feeling all over his
Yeah.
body. Like I said, "I'm sorry for being so rough." He's
No,
like, no,
'cause-
you got to be.
Absolutely. 'Cause, thankfully, Frank and I are both prior military, and we both know, you don't just, of a wound, but you don't know what else you
Right.
don't know. Same
That's
reason
right.
I couldn't hear Ginger. I could have a grazing wound or,
Yep.
with the tourniquets too, though, coincidentally, I was hitting my upper thigh or mid thigh. We're taught high and tight on tourniquets, because what you're doing by putting a tourniquet high is you're eliminating any potential injuries of that limb. You know, because
That's right. They
great.
don't
So
know
let's say I've been shot in my calf and it was bleeding all over the place, and I
You
put my
don't
tourniquet
know.
below the knee. Okay, but I might have been hitting the quad
That's
and had
right.
no idea. You just tie off the entire limb in a combat, and you know, and that's the difference between medicine when you choose to get into it. And I always encourage everyone gets involved in medicine, because you know, if you think about it, medicine is so much more applicable technically than gun work, because we all conceal carry. But that's, if you think about it, a very situational thing as opposed to medicine. You could witness a car accident. Hell, you could witness someone fall and crack their head open. Kitchen accident with a knife. Medicine is so much more applicable to a broad spectrum of things that can happen. So guns are so much more situational. But again, there's a difference between combat medicine and, you know, the medicine people are taught when they're hiking. Like when you fall hiking, you lacerate your leg on a rock. You're not in a gunfight.
Right.
And with a gunfight,
Exactly.
Frank had to take quick work of me because we didn't know what the fuck was going on.
That's right.
So again, thankfully, you know, and I'm very aware. No, Frank stripped my shirt off. He flipped me. He was going all over
He
us. He's
followed
like,
you.
He was like, he was flipping me all over. I think I heard Daddy at some point. But no, he's just manhandling me. And I remember you apologizing, like, no, like, thank you. Like, this is what the fuck we're doing.
That's right.
Get me handled so you can move on and do what you need
That's
to do.
right.
And he was good. He just sat there with his hands up like this, and I was just
Yes, like,
feeling
Go-
all over him,
yes.
trying to make sure I didn't have any blood on my hands to see if he had additional
yeah.
wounds.
And in the moment, again, saying that fast data, I'm like, yes, Frank is prior military. Frank knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about when I say check me. And you went ape shit and checked my whole body.
Right.
You know, and it sounds funny, but no, but that's exactly what I needed, because I didn't need somebody
That's right.
who was, you know, not, and again, it's no discredit to any of our other coworkers, but had someone not been prior military experience like some of our coworkers, they would not known the immense, in-depth check I needed to just take my shirt off and go, you look good. No, like, flip me over.
That's right.
I don't care if I bust my nose on the pavement when you flip me, because we're talking about bullet holes. You need to check me. So thankfully,
Absolutely.
Frank was very aggressive and very quick with the check. And yeah, no, aggressive is a perfect term, but it's what was necessary in the time.
That's right.
So
So he does a good reach around.
yeah, no, yeah. I was blushing a little bit. I'm like, ooh, Frank.
Right
shit.
there, baby.
Popped him on the behind a couple of times.
man.
Said, "You're good, buddy."
I'm glad I didn't shoot your car.
You could look. His hand's long enough. You really could have
You
grabbed
know,
the
I'm
hair.
surprised. My Jeep was parked one car over from the front doors.
I
Not
wouldn't
one
shoot
scratch
your
on
car.
it. It was crazy.
Oh, that's fucking nice for y'all. Mine's gonna be in the shop for 4
Look,
months.
Ginger, take it. Look, listen. People pay money at AutoZone for the bullet hole stickers on their trucks. You got free bullet
That
holes.
is true. That is very true. And you know that it looks just like
Yo,
that.
Aiden, $26.
Thank you, yes.
I feel like I need a shower. I feel wrong with you.
You feel violated.
People should have to pay for this. This was a good one.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
glad to hear it, yeah.
Dude, it was crazy.
And I want to reiterate that you were able to do what you did, and all of us were able to, I mean, you, to do what you did because of, before I talk about this, what did you think about the memorial? Do you have a lot less respect for me now?
No, honestly.
That I can't
You
make
know,
a speech?
no,
My
listen.
poor baby.
No, let me tell
It's
you.
I heard
all right,
about it.
darling.
I heard about
Listen,
it.
no.
You weren't there?
No, remember I said
What'd
I had
you
to
hear?
leave to go. I heard
didn't-
you start bawling your brains out. You couldn't
No,
control
let me
yourself.
and let me tell you.
What did
He
you
had
hear?
to be
Hold on.
rescued.
Don't,
So-
hold on, no. What did you hear?
I heard you started
wants to know.
you started your speech. Okay.
No,
about-
false. He did not start his speech.
Hold on, don't
And-
give him any help.
I heard you started your speech and you could not get 2 words out, and then you just you wait. So who had to come help you?
Hey,
Don't tell him.
Abe, the sausage king of Chicago.
I heard somebody had to come help you because you just lost it. That's what I heard.
he was a little
No,
bitch.
and look, let me tell you.
But it's okay.
No, listen.
That's
It's
wrong.
Listen, let me
And
tell
I
you.
heard that you said something about good thing Chelsea wasn't there. She
Yes,
left
he
early.
did
Yeah.
say that.
And listen, let me tell you. So, what's funny was when I went to that memorial. You know, I had already saw your chat, and you were saying like a lot of people they want more people to speak, and I didn't initially want to speak because I know there was going to be so many more people there that known him for a lifetime, if not
Yes,
15, 20
that's
years.
how I felt.
And I didn't feel in the place to speak because I only known him for less than 2 years, and I didn't feel it was appropriate for
I was
me of all
looking for
people.
life rafts at that point, so thank you very much.
Well, No, but let me tell you with Devin.
But
so,
even in the podcast,
No,
when you
listen.
started talking about it, you started tearing up.
Man,
so let me tell you though. So
He's
for
about
the
to cry again,
because
stop.
I don't like movies and stuff. I won't cry about, but shit like this, man.
Have you seen Coco?
Such a pussy with that kind of stuff. Like when it comes to people I know and
Yeah.
brotherhoods
Right,
and
exactly.
no, and
friends
look,
and stuff,
let
man,
me-
I have no control.
And let me give the viewers some perspective. So, ironically, a lot of the viewers have
Here
probably
we go.
only seen Devin from the podcast. And this is honestly the most personality I've seen from you. So, let me give you all a perspective from a work day-to-day basis on Devin. Listen, I've made jokes about you, and I'm going to tell you to your face. I've made jokes that you probably start every breakfast with a little dose of horse tranquilizer. Because when you come in, and I understand you got a baby at home and the stress of being a manager here and all of us doing our little fuck-ups every now and then at work. But, like, working with Devin is so funny because, you know, when we had our other guy here who's no longer here, he had to, at one point, explain to me I was in trouble because I had no idea.
We don't know. Yeah, we know now.
So with Devin, he's very, you know,
So mellow.
very melancholy.
So
that you
much
had
so.
technically fussed at me when I was
I do my
newer.
best.
You technically fussed at me when I was newer. And I was like, all right, Devin, I understand. And then he looked at me and goes, you're in deep shit. I'm like, am I? I have no idea. Because you're so mellow.
Devin's biggest, pissed off mood is he's got, God
He
damn
laughs.
it.
So, no.
That's the biggest thing he said.
No. And with that being said, I've learned that with you, at least in the work environment, the only reason I can know you're mad or in trouble, at least with specifically me, is when you use profanity. Because do you remember when I fucked up that one guy's suppressor? I know you know. Don't say
I
you
know.
No, I know you know. That was a $900 fuck up. So
I know.
there was a guy's suppressor I put on. Okay, long story short, I put on a dude's suppressor wrong. He fucked it up. He shot it out. It was a $900 L. So, and you simply told me, hey, Aiden, look. And again, super mellow. Hey, man, look, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, why don't you just not fucking do it? And that was all I needed to know, that if that was a normal human being, I'd have been getting chewed out. But that's
Fired.
That's Devin's logic. That's how Devin chews out. He just talks.
Well, look,
But not
once
only
you
that, but
hit,
then he also
once you
says,
hit the
like-
90-day point, you're now a part of the family, and I feel responsible for everything you do.
But
So it's my fuck up that you
Well,
did
see,
that.
yeah, and that's what he does is you'll hear after that, you'll hear, I'll fucking fix it. I'll take care of it.
no, and you know, and I'm going to be honest. I expected that $900 to come out of my check. I wasn't going to argue. No, look,
No.
at the end of the day, I knew at that point I fucked up, and I was not going to argue because I, at the end of the day, fucked up. But with that being said, getting back to Noah's memorial, the point of the whole moral of the story is I've never seen a remote sign of an emotion from you other than like this, like mellow. You just do your job, and I understand why you're working your ass off, and I appreciate it. But man, when I saw you up there and I saw your bottom lip quaking and I saw the tears coming, I was like, you know, at that point,
Don't
It
throw him under the train.
Made him a little human.
yes. But wow, he's not a robot. Holy shit. But no, but you know, and at that point, I was
And I
mentally.
think that's why we all sat back and said, "Yeah, let's watch this."
Yeah, I know.
No.
I looked up briefly and I said, all right, I know one of these guys are going to come save me. And there was crickets. And I said, God damn it.
No, so for me, I had no
I said,
intention.
oh. And I looked up and I said, all right, somebody's going to. Okay, I'm going to have to
None
fight
of
my
these
way out
little
of this.
motherfuckers are coming up
No,
here.
and you know, and it was so heart wrenching because had that been anyone else that normally shows more emotion, it'd have been normal. But for Devin, who doesn't, you don't show nothing, man.
But you see,
Right.
that's
And,
part
and,
of
and but no, but hey, look, and honestly, I credit you for that because I know how much stress you're under as a manager here with all the dumb shit that happens in a gun store. I credit you for being so melancholy in the amount of stress you deal with.
I'll take it.
But to
Out of
see
this
you,
beating.
but to see you get emotional, and at that point, I was mentally preparing myself to talk, and I was very composed. Man,
But that's
when I saw,
probably why most people didn't do anything. Is because they're so used to not seeing him act
We were
that
in
way.
shock.
Everybody's like,
but
We were in
wait a
shock.
fucking
I
minute.
I was mentally preparing myself. I'm like, I have to speak. I was like composing myself. I'm like, you can do it. Just talk. And I saw Devin's bottom lip. I was like, fuck. I started crying when you started crying.
Exactly.
That's when you come up and you say, 2 Dagos walk into a bar.
Yeah, thankfully Abe came up and saved you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
you did. I
But-
was able to regain a little bit of composure, but not much. But yeah, man, it's rough, man. I don't have a big family, you know. So whenever something like this happens, it's rough.
It is.
I know it doesn't seem as emotional at times, but this is what I've been That's all I do for the last 12 years of my life.
Yep.
Yep,
And Noah was a good friend, man. And again, this podcast is dedicated to him.
that's right.
No, absolutely. I'm gonna tell you right now. Look. I personally
You know,
don't.
he shot all 5 rounds of those. Went down fighting.
No, absolutely. You know
Yeah,
what?
that goddamn revolver, man.
No, and you
That's
know what?
what I said,
And fuck, you know,
man.
and I'm gonna tell you. So I'm
You
gonna tell
know
you
what, too, which is really shitty, is all 5 rounds are accounted for in that partition in the middle of the...
And you know what to me is important though is that the fact that all 5 rounds are counted for, which means Noah pulled all 5 rounds, which means Noah was fully committed to the fight. There was at no point that Noah curled up and said, "I'm done," because
hell no.
he shot his 5, and unfortunately
and
he
was grabbing a rifle.
He was going
correct.
for his rifle.
And the big point was he was lost, not curled up in a ball.
That's right.
Afraid. He was lost
Being a little
fighting.
bitch. That's
And that's
right.
what the big thing was. And I'm going to tell you right now, I rode with his wife the day we went and picked up our guns up from investigations. And she had been left in the dark about a lot of stuff. And that's what she was most upset about. And a lot of people, and rightfully, because, again, I could never pretend to speak from perspective what it's like to lose my wife. Christ, I couldn't even imagine. But she was
kids,
left.
man.
No, and she was left in the dark about a lot of stuff. And in that car ride, I tastefully let her know, because she didn't know much. As far as she knew, Noah was lost in a blink of an eye. No chance of retaliation. And, I'll tell you, when I first heard the story, the very first thing I heard from getting to the hospital, I'm going to tell you, when I got to the hospital, I never stopped touching my phone. Just talking to y'all,
Yes.
getting informed, basically what the fuck happened. Not 30 seconds ago, I went from being very professional with a class to shooting an individual. So I wanted to get informed. And from what I first heard, Noah had been caught off guard. And that to me, though, if that had been the case, is tragic and no one's fault.
You can
I
see
was-
that in the
Right.
video.
And I was so happy to know after the fact, though, that again, tragic, it was a revolver that day. But when I tell you the sense of relief I had when I found out that revolver was empty,
Right.
he fought.
Oh,
And that's
yeah, he
all
fought.
I need to know is he fought.
That's right.
So, again, riding with his wife to go pick up our guns, because I can't physically drive with his leg, she was more than happy to ride with me. We talked, and, tastefully I informed her what had happened. But what she needed to know was that her husband had fought.
That's
and
right.
he, like many of us here who are lucky enough to be here today to talk about it, we all fought. Frank, you, me, even Ginger, defending the class. We were all here for both ourselves as employees as well as the customers. And though Noah, unfortunately, that fateful day lost his life, or I should say, used his life to save everyone.
That's
He
right.
was no less a part than anyone else that would have
That's
been
right.
I would
involved.
say gave his life.
Gave his life, correct. That was the word I'm looking for. He had given his life to both us as the coworkers as well as the customer.
That's right.
And that's what his wife needed to hear. And I had, again, tastefully didn't get into the details of what had happened. She needs to know that her husband wasn't just lost at a whim of just a sudden accident. No, he fought his damnedest for those he cared about.
That's right.
And she broke down with me. I broke down with her in that car.
Well, we say all the time,
So-
if he'd have got to that rifle, it would have been over.
That'd have been it.
Oh, real
I'm gonna
quick.
tell you. I'm gonna tell all the
Real
viewers right
quick.
now. Had he been there, that'd have been it. My half of the story, my injury I succumbed to, would not be part of the story. I would be able-bodied. He'd have been handled in the store. That'd have been it. It'd have been done.
Done.
But from what I heard, no one had realized the individual had re-entered the store, and
Three
we
times.
can all speculate a million times what should have been and what could have been, but the point being is that he didn't go out without a fight, and that's really all I care about.
That's right.
Had he had to go, it's tragic. I wish anything but that. But I can find peace knowing he went giving his all.
And
And that's all you can ask of anybody.
That's right. And people don't realize there were 2 little kids under 10 years old in there.
In between y'all and...
That's right. In between y'all and this guy. And, I know Noah and them took that in consideration. And let me tell you something. Not one life was taken from us other than the shooter. And that's impressive because you know how many customers? We had over a dozen customers here that day in this building.
And, and that's a big thing for me was of our people, of the customer who was involved, huge tragedy. At the end of the day, she was just trying to flee a situation.
Absolutely.
But of our people who were shot, no one was curling up in a ball. No one was hiding in a corner.
Nope.
Any individual me and the other coworker who were shot, and Noah, no one was not fighting.
That's right. They
Well,
were
that's what
fighting
we
for
said
us.
about
And that's
you.
what's important.
Was what we could have easily just stayed in that classroom. We could have easily just said,
No, and look,
we're hanging out. We'll wait till everything's over. But had we not come out onto that balcony, had we not exited that fire escape, we don't know if that guy would have walked down that alley and tried to finish you. Or once I came down those stairs, I saw these 3 students under the stairs. And I was like,
look.
holy shit.
And look,
Where did these motherfuckers come from?
No,
You know?
brother. No, brother. Look, and I'm telling you, brother, from a wholehearted point, I am very aware you and Dave saved my life. I'm not for a moment going to pretend that that wasn't the case. You and Dave both saved my life, and I want you to know that. Because had the situation gone down that that individual didn't happen to come across that corner, had he had taken up a defensive position like behind a vehicle,
Or gone to
My
his car and
person-
gotten the other 2 guns that were sitting in the car.
no, but the point of it is that at that point, I had succumbed to a gunshot injury, a life-threatening, though it was not arterial. Had I not put a tourniquet on, I promise you I would have died that day. And the fact that you and Dave stepped out of that classroom, that safe space, and that's what I want to stress, that classroom was a safe space. You stepped out of what you know would have been a guaranteed point to save your life. You stepped out on that balcony into the unknown to save me, you know? And I want you to know that that's truly a life-saving moment, because I'm very aware of how combat medicine works. And the main thing of combat medicine is that you handle the threat before you handle yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Had he had taken up a defensive position behind a vehicle, I would still be in the position, unfortunately, to handle him first before myself. Every second of my life being pulled from me from blood loss.
Mm-hmm.
So had you and Dave stayed in that classroom, I would have been in a position that, I'm going to tell you where I was mentally and what had happened to go down. I stayed behind that wall and I waited for him to come around because I saw him aggressing towards me.
Right.
Had he had taken up a more defensive position, we would have been at a stalemate, with me dying by the second.
Mm-hmm.
Had you not come out, I'd have been making a crucial choice between stay where you are and potentially die, or push forward and hope to succeed, not to die in this gunfight. But thankfully, again, the crucial thing is that you and Dave made that conscious decision to step out of what was a safe space to defend me.
Of course.
And that was what truly stepped up to me, was when I heard you come out the building and yell, "I've got your cover."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm going to live with that forever, is that you, and I 100% credit you for saving my life. You made your point. You dropped that tourniquet. I, that day, was complacent and did not have my tourniquet. And I'm going to be real. I was driving to work and I went, oh, well, it's fine. I've been to work a million days already without it and didn't need it.
Right.
That day, I needed it. And in muscle memory, I patted my back left pocket and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I'd have been in that same boat without a proper tourniquet in a still potential fight, dying by the second, dealing with someone who's going to kill me imminently any second.
Yeah.
So,
And he was hunting. He was hunting. You
without
could
a doubt.
see it. Oh,
so,
yeah.
and again, and ironically, I was thankful he was hunting, because that's what presented himself to me quicker to eliminate the fight. But without a doubt, I think of everything that could have been, and without a doubt, you and Dave both saved my life. Because though he came around and I got a chance to engage more, had he had not, and y'all still came down the way you did, you would have presented a threat to him to still finish the fight.
Well, yeah, and Ginger even was like, we heard you screaming inside the building.
Yeah, because
Like,
I'm
we were
standing on top of the
Drop
stairs.
the fucking gun!
I don't know if more people are coming up the stairs. So I'm standing at the top of the stairs, just out of the way at the top of the stairs, just so I can see if somebody's coming up. I was drawn, ready to go, and I can clearly to this day hear Frank, then Dave, Frank, then Dave.
Yeah, we're screaming
telling
top
him,
of our lungs because he
get
turned
on
that
the
corner.
ground, get on the ground. I mean, they kept telling him over and over, and I can hear it, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like, is there more?
Yeah.
Is there more? Is
Because like I said,
we didn't know.
And
you know,
he turned that corner like coming after you as you came down that
And
alley.
again, what's ironic though is, had I had not been shot, it wouldn't have been so ideal he was coming for me. But weirdly enough, I was very thankful that he was hunting me so we can get this shit over with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, like I said, if you remember me yelling, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But I had been shot, ran behind cover, tack reload, put in a new magazine.
Right.
And I was aiming, and I felt, and I'm going to be honest, it felt like what I was physically feeling on my body, it felt like I was pissing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Just this hot fluid running down my leg, and I knew goddamn well it was blood. And I'm on a clock. And here's the tragic thing. When you hear us, we've already talked about the 2 minutes.
Right.
The 2 minutes is until you're dead. And what I've been taught is you technically have 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 minute is to get your shit together and stop the bleeding. The second minute is you clueless on blood loss, staring at the sky until you die. So technically, though you have 2 minutes till you're completely dead, the first minute is when you're conscious and capable of getting your shit together.
Well, yeah,
And
and
that's
all
what
that,
was
all
with
that
me.
training from the military kicked in, and I mean,
Just
like
the
I
way it
said,
should
that,
had.
that 2 minutes
That's right.
started in my brain as soon as I saw you hopping down the.
And again,
alleyway.
same with me. Impact point, 2 minutes. Let's
And
go.
I knew I had a cat tourniquet in my bag. I knew that I had to get it to you. I mean, and throwing it down to you as opposed to running down the steps and handing it to you.
No, that was fantastic.
Even as fast as that.
And I'm glad I caught it. Shit. I was impressed I caught the damn thing.
But the thought process and I mean, like I said, the amount of data that we think of that we're saying, well, let me run in, let me grab it, and let me run out, because I think I even remember walking into the room and saying, the shooter's down, I need to get a tourniquet,
Right.
and running out to you and dropping that to you.
Yeah. No, look, take up your shot. I want you to know goddamn well that you saved my fucking life.
Thank you.
And I want you
love
to
y'all.
And look, I don't want you to think for a fucking minute that you any
Well,
situational thing.
that was a priority, brother. I mean, that was definitely.
and you know what? And that's the moral of the story is we had each other's backs that fucking day.
Absolutely.
And listen, though Noah
Ginger and I have talked about that a number of
Yes.
times already.
and listen,
Yes.
though Noah was tragically lost in the more immediate moments of that situation, I know goddamn well had he been alive, fuck, even if he didn't have a tourniquet, he would have tied his goddamn belt around my leg if he could.
Absolutely.
I don't, doubt for a second that if Noah had made it further than he did, he would have done everything he could.
Right.
So I want you to know.
I think you did.
Listen.
everything you could.
From where we are, I credit you for where I am here, and the fact that I'm here to talk today is because of you and Dave. Okay. I
And
need
my
you to know
car.
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Ginger's car, her beautiful Mustang that you could hear from a quarter mile away, that she burned.
You've heard it before on this podcast.
Yes, and yes. She,
Okay, look.
no, stop. So she every day, I've made Snapchats about you. I'm like recording. I'm like, watch. Here she goes. She's at the stop sign. She's hitting Airline Drive. Quarter mile away, you can still hear Ginger. So yes,
Dude,
ladies and gentlemen, let's take a toast.
Soundproof room.
Yes.
can hear
You can
me
hear
leaving.
her leave.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a toast to those who saved me. Frank and Dave, and both Ginger's fucking Mustang.
right.
That loud damn car.
It is so funny because poor Aiden that night, he was texting me. He's in the hospital texting me, I'm so sorry I shot the fuck out of your car. Listen, baby, if that car helped save your life,
I knew goddamn well I shot the living shit out of your car.
Dude, I can remember seeing when I was assessing everything after the fact, because I was telling people, don't watch those casings, don't step on this, don't step. I was surprisingly very clear throughout
That's
the
the
entire
first thing
event.
you said to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like,
And
listen,
then
like,
I could see the
I think
bulges.
that means you're a psychopath.
It might be. I can remember seeing the bulges in the roof of her car.
Yes,
where the
they're
bullets
many.
ricocheted and rounded
yeah.
the roof.
yeah, no, you know what, and it's amazing. I'm so thankful for the training that I've had that we, weirdly enough, and we were in Europe, we got this like beater piece of shit car and we got to shoot at it, and that day we were like, this is kind of random, but it's amazing how much I recollect from that day that like, wow, cars react weird to bullets.
Where'd you
And let me tell you why.
Where'd you study abroad, motherfucker?
So when I went to the collision
Serbia.
center, when they finally released my car from evidence and it got to the collision center and we went, he's like, I don't understand. He's like, what? I'm like, what? He's like, do you see all these bullet holes? I'm like, trust me, I see them. He's like, they just traveled in a way that I can't explain, and not one's in your motor, not one's in anything where the car can't
Vital.
function.
Because I'm a good shot.
And he said it rode the top of the hood. It rode the top of your,
That was Henry Ford going.
No, listen, look.
But they're really amazed about how the bullets really
Okay.
just hugged the the
felt lining.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
I heard.
it's crazy.
I heard there was a round that went in your windshield, probably one of mine, in the windshield, rode your felt lining of the ceiling and broke your back window.
It's insane.
Now listen, I'm going to take advantage of being on this podcast and talk to this camera. From now on, because of the fact that Ginger's vehicle saved her life, I want
Your life.
I want those cringy gun bullet hole stickers on all of her cars. And it's said here, and if you don't see them, she's a shitbag. So I want those cringy AutoZone bullet hole stickers on your back bumper.
She's got like $200,000 worth of vehicles.
I know,
She's not
right?
Sticking those.
Okay,
diamond
that's
stickers.
$15 worth of stickers. I don't give a shit. You just vouching for me more.
That big ass truck she has and everything.
Oh my god.
I want gun bullet hole cringy stickers on your.
Mine's an alley. HD.
If our old man coworker can have the cringy shit he has on his very nice truck, you can handle a couple of bullet hole stickers on your vehicles.
At least, well,
You heard it here. So
You heard it here.
Well, I will say, I wish there was more I could have done.
you did everything you
I'm
could.
glad.
That's all I could ask for.
I'm glad that I could do what I could do for you. It was important to me and hit me pretty hard as far as the, like I said, the timing.
I wish you
When
would
I
have said
saw
that.
you get hit, why?
What was your
Just
question?
because.
What'd you say?
Oh God, my little baby. I gotta pet
It
him.
was very big. It meant a lot to me to defend our crew. I mean, that was why we charged out of the room in the first place, was that we couldn't just sit by, and no matter how many people were down there, and just let shit take place.
No, absolutely.
We had to stop it.
When you
And-
called me, that was probably the worst moment
Feeling.
of my life.
dude,
And I started yelling over it because I could hear him say, "Are you?"
when I called
What'd
him on
he
the
say?
phone, I'm like, "You need to get to the store. There's been a shootout.
He's like, "Are you fucking
Noah's
kidding
been
me?"
killed. Yeah, I need you here." And he's like, "What are you fucking saying right now?"
Man,
Like,
what?
he could
You
not
said-
I
process
could
it.
tell poor Devin was in
Man,
shock.
what the
Yeah.
He went immediately in shock.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I was just
without a
like,
doubt.
"Get here right now." And he's like, "Okay, I'm on my way." Click, and then I called Mike. You know,
And listen, look, with that being said, that's the biggest moral of this story is, though we were all, of course, naturally concerned for our own self-preservation, we had everyone else in mind.
And that was
That's
that was
the biggest
great.
thing with look, especially, naturally give more credit to Frank because he's the one who threw me a tourniquet that ultimately saved my life. It's, when the bullets start flying and people start dying, and again, that's a really stupid rhyming, cringy phrase I was taught.
It was the truth, though.
No, and that's the fact of shit. You
That's
start
right, it's
seeing
the
blood
truth.
and bullets and shit's real.
People don't understand.
It's not just self-preservation. Naturally, there's a sense of that, but the fact that what went through your mind was more than just eliminating a threat and making sure I'm okay. You threw me the tourniquet. You made sure I was okay, and you checked my body for more. So the biggest thing that I've taken away from all of this situation, though tragic, and I wish never happened, or at least wish went better that every one of our team was still here.
That's right.
We've grown, and there's not one person I work with that I wouldn't trust with my life.
That's right.
And
Exactly.
of course, these people on the viewing this won't have the perspective that I gave in my speech the day of Noah's memorial. The big moral of my story is where we go as a family. We were always cool as coworkers. Like I fuck with Dave, or I fuck with Frank. He was cool, and everybody's nice, and I like everybody. But though I wish it never happened, we were tested trial by fire, and there's not a single
Come on.
individual who did not perform that day.
That's right.
No one chose to hit the door and run. You know what I mean? There's many people I've been friends with for years, since high school, and even further. I've known for over 20 years.
Yeah.
That would personally, easily say, "Oh, I can trust. Oh,
I can't
I've
say
got you
any
with my
of those
life."
people would have my back like that.
No.
Right.
No, and
Not
you know
like
what?
the people that I work with. here.
Correct.
Exactly.
And look, though, of course, at the end of the day, I wish that none of this happened. We learned trial by fire who had whose back. And again, Noah that day had everyone's back. Though he gave the greatest
Yep.
sacrifice, he gave it for all of us.
Yep.
And that's what I learned of everybody.
Well, I want to end with Noah. That was a good stopping point.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a dry eye, there's something wrong with you, and go to the hospital, get checked. This was a good one.
Yeah.
This is part 1. We'll do part 2 with Aiden
I'll be back next week.
in
guys.
2 or 3 days. What you got? Wednesday, you said?
Yeah. We'll do Wednesday if you want.
All right.
Yep.
You
I'm
got
not
Wednesday?
working. I'm available.
Yeah, we
every day.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know you know.
I'm still doing payroll for you. Wednesday. All right, so it should be up by Thursday. So 4 days from now, we'll have part 2. I gotta pee. There's no more liquor, and
that is very false. Hey, look, I tell you
I'm
what.
worn out. I feel like I need a shower and a massage.
If we could take one final toast for Noah. I know I wasn't here for the last one.
Well, you
but-
weren't here for the last one. But
Exactly. So I want to be here for this one. So I got mine.
Oh
filled.
shit! Sorry. I'll clean it up.
I'm only doing
Mama
half of
Ginger.
one 'cause I
Yeah, give me a
drank way
half.
too much.
Uber's expensive.
Yeah, I had to do an Uber here from here home. It was like $55.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
Oh shit! Right?
Sorry. My bicep hit.
Oh yeah, you guns, boo.
All right, 2 Shots In podcast. I'm Devin Burgess.
Frank King.
Aiden Lee.
Ginger Janae.
To Noah.
To Noah.
Noah.
Love you, brother.